I imagine that this sort of expression, this look, is the look that a million Sabine players all around the world suddenly had and cried out when Sabine started not just top 8ing but winning major tournaments, and therefore all the calls for Sabine to be banned started coming out of Facebook. Hello and welcome to an episode of the Unlimited Power TCG YouTube channel, where we're going over the UK's tournament results and upcoming events and metagame snapshots as best we can. Once again, this week we've just had a pair of Planetary Qualifiers held, one in Brighton and one in Nottingham, and we'll be going over those. We've got decklist compositions for the top 8 of both of those and full decklists for the Nottingham Planetary Qualifier here on this episode. But first, upcoming major UK events and dates, things that are going on in the near future that might impact you. If of interest and you're watching this, if you're an international player just looking for insight on the deck list, then this may or may not be of any real interest to you, but tough, I'm doing it anyway because that's what the focus of this channel is. If you want to find events, the best place remains the official Star Wars Unlimited Event Finder website, populated by the venues themselves. So go there first. Also of use is the Star Wars Unlimited UK Facebook group and the UK Discord community. Links to all of these are in the video description below. Store showdowns are currently going on for set 3. A lot of these will have happened, but a lot of these will have not yet. If you want to get in touch with any of those, do so yourself off your own back to find out when they're holding theirs and when they're holding theirs, or if they already have, and see if you can get involved if you want to get involved. It's great to have the local gaming scene supported and looked after by yourself, and the rewards you can get, and the cards you can get, and the games you can play, and the people you can meet in doing so. So yeah, it's awesome. The community is obviously what keeps us all coming back. Planetary Qualifiers in the UK, there are 10 of them. The first 2 at the top there have happened yesterday as of time of filming. The rest are still yet to come again as of time of filming. The third one there, Dark Sphere in London, is the next one. Is about like 6 days away again as of time of filming. If you're interested in going and testing yourself against some of the top Star Wars Unlimited players in the country, but also in the world, I'm given to understand the KTOD crew are largely flying over to London for a weekend break and will be attending the Planetary Qualifier at Dark Sphere in London that weekend. So if you want to test yourself, go for it. Give them as hard a time as you possibly can. At least in gaming terms anyway, they're good people. These are where the PQs are being held across the country. Is like geographical spread, and the rewards you can get for top 16, top 8, top 4 finalist and winner. The participation card is the invisible hand. Then you got the top 4 players get the initiative token, and then the winner gets the champion map there, as well as the first day bye to the Galactic Champions being held in Vegas in a few months' time, halfway through this year, 2025. Following on from that, we've got set 4 pre-releasing and releasing. Jump to Lightspeed previews, that's what I'm looking for, have started to flow thick and fast from FFG, and will do so from influencers as well soon, I'm very sure. So getting a glimpse of what's going on with those will be happening over the coming weeks and coming couple of months. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And right, what we're here for. The 2 Planetary Qualifiers that took place yesterday as of time of filming in Brighton and Nottingham. The first one was the Brighton one at Dice Saloon. Had 67 players show up and was won by Yehosera, also known as Joshua Freeman Birch, who's got a number of tournament successes to his name. He beat the event with his Han 1 Blue deck, which is interesting. I know several people have remarked on trying to get hold of his deck list. Josh does have his own Facebook blog on which he posts deck lists and extremely good articles about these things. There is a link to said blog Facebook page in the video description below, so keep an eye on that if you want to see what his deck list is and what he thinks about it. Second was Quinlan Tarkintown deck run by Charkey. Third and fourth, I'm not entirely sure what order they were in, due to the information that I've got, was a Django Tarkintown and a Ray Aggression deck. And fifth to eight, again, I'm not entirely sure on the order here, was a Chancellor Palp deck, blue, run by a chap called Silk, who has generously offered and provided his deck list for that, for people who are interested in seeing how a previously off-meta deck has done extremely well at a Planetary Qualifier. We'll get to that in a moment. Kira Command and 2 Sabine ECL decks in the top 8. Excuse me. So, there we go. Here is Silk's Chancellor Palp deck. I'll be honest, I can't get my head around even trying to make Chancellor Palpatine work. It just looks like far too much of a brain melter for me. Maybe that's my problem that I should do something about. But extreme congratulations to Silk for making it work and placing within the top 8 of the Brighton PQ out of 70 odd players. Not a small feat in any way, shape or form. So well done. What we got there? We got Chancellor Palp Blue. Mainly Rebel stuff, as you would do, because you've got to play, well, at least mainly early Rebel stuff, because you're going to start on the Rebel side, of course, or the Heroic side, I should say, rather than Rebel side. Then going into the late game and the Power of the Imperial stuff, but not just Imperial. We got Luke, Cad, Redemption Avenger, Super Laser. Yeah. Wow. Some scary stuff in this deck. Best of both sides in a way. Awesome. Right, moving on to the Planetary Qualifier in Nottingham. Had just shy of 100 players show up for this one. I was lucky enough to be present for this one. My results did not do me any credits this time, so I'm not going to make a massive deal about them. Suffice it to say, I lost more games than I won, which is a shame, and I will redouble my efforts in future. Or, frankly, I'll just dump Sabine ECL and try something different next time. We shall see how it goes. I'll be going to the PQ at Element Games in Stockport in a few weeks' time, so if you're going to be there, hopefully I'll see you there. The event was won by Sabine ECL player Sebastian Buku Bukowski with his first win of a major tournament in quite some time. Part of my local team, friend group here in Birmingham. Seb has pushed himself extremely hard, put a lot of work and time in to achieve the win that he's done here. So, full congratulations to you, Buku. Second place was a Quinlan Tarkin Town deck run by Jamie Stone of the Alliance Dispatch YouTube channel. I was so tempted to spell your name wrong there. I really was. It's just like Jamy or something like that. So that would have been a laugh. Pleasure to meet you, my friend. Third place is Django Tarkin Town, run by Ben Davis, and fourth place Akira Command, run by Tristan Gauntley. Both extremely good players who I've had the privilege of meeting before. And fifth to eighth place in order was a Django Tarkin Town deck piloted extremely well by Lewis Turner. The first Hard 1 Cunning deck in top 8 by Dominic Velaccio Rhodes. Another Sabine ECL deck run by Jordan Illingworth. And another Hard 1 Cunning deck run by Danny Adlam, also of the Alliance Dispatch, who are local of Norwich and Athena Games, and I'm sure are going to be a force to be reckoned with at the PQ that they're running in a few weeks. Moving into the deck list that we've got in reverse order. 8th place was Danny Adlam's Hard 1 deck list there. I've got to admit, I'm not in on the Hard 1 text myself, so seeing Zori Bliss pop up in more and more Hard 1 lists is interesting. I wouldn't have thought she was a massively powerful card, but clearly she's a potent part, otherwise we wouldn't see him in both of the top 8 Hard 1 deck lists that we have here. Liberated Slaves as well, as I have to assume only included because they're a solid 3-5 stat line for a 3-drop. Everything else in here is relatively standard as far as Hard 1 yellow goes. Kira, Enfys, Leet, Hotshots, Sparks, Bodies, Cantina Bouncers, Waylays, Cunnings, all of that jazz. What have we got in the sideboard? We've got one Clear the Field. One assumes to deal with any clones or battle droid spams, or potentially just another cheap alternate Waylay card to be used and drawn at any point. The Ozituk is a 3-attack ambushing spaceship. Yeah, fairly by the books as Han Solo goes. So very well done, Danny. Congratulations for placing 8th out of 100. 7th place, we have Jordan Illingworth and his Sabine ECL deck. Jordan has asked for his sideboard not to be publicised in this, which I'll of course respect. That's such a request. Having had a quick cheeky glimpse at it with his permission, there's some spice in there that you do not normally see in a Sabine deck. Oh, I need to find out why that's in there, and I'm looking forward to finding out. Other than that, Ketsuonyo is a controversial inclusion in Sabine ECL due to her 2 hit points as a 2-drop. Likewise Jin, but the pair of them have obviously seen Jordan very well in this deck and in this tournament. Admiral Yularen, not quite so controversial, but still an optional choice. Likewise Sundari Peacekeeper, having the 5 hit point units in there is obviously a response, well, not necessarily obviously, but I understand a response to the ping Tarkin Town meta, which can easily do 4 points of damage very quickly and easily, and if you've got 5 hit points, they're a little bit harder to kill. So yeah, congratulations, Jordan. Very well done. 7th place out of 100. 6th place, Dominic Valacho Rhodes took down with his Han 1 mono yellow deck, also running Zori Bliss, running Plo Koon, which Danny was not in the earlier list, also running Liberated Slaves. Aside from that, nothing in that main deck is unusual to my eye. The sideboard there is obviously very wide. Looks like he's taken some of the cards from his main deck that we would run 3, run them down to 2 copies instead, and would like tweak it in and out just to face the matchup, which is obviously a good solid choice of versatility. Although a copy of Final Showdown as well. So interesting to see that. I'd be curious to learn if that ever actually saw play during the tournament. So yeah, cool. It'd be great if it did. If it won a game, that would be awesome. Moving on, 5th place, Lewis Turner took down 5th place out of 100 with his Jango Fett Tarkin Town deck. Congratulations, Lewis. Everything in there is essentially scanning through as I would expect to see in a Jango Tarkin Town, right down to the heavy Persuader tank that has popped in after I'm not necessarily saying the first place to do it was KTOD, but that is the first place I saw it mentioned in conjunction with Jango Tarkin Town. Aside from that, you got all the pings, you got the lurking ties, you got the triple dark raids, surprise strikes, mercenary gunships, breaking in as an extra surprise strike alike, but with saboteur as well. Yeah, incredibly powerful and potent deck, as evidenced by the fact he's taken it to 5th place in the sideboard. You got Tie Advanced, was working with Triple Dark Raid for experience, and then comes back in, you can play an experience again. Van braces more pings. Yeah, stuff with all a clear purpose. Congratulations, Lewis. Very well done. 4th place, Tristan Gautley took down with a Kira Command deck. I had the pleasure of playing Tristan at a store showdown in Derby a few weeks ago when he was running a Ray aggression deck against my Sabine ECL at the time, so I know just how skilled Tristan is. He's an extremely good player. Obviously showing that Kira Command still has some teeth to it. 3 top targets in the sideboard, 2 pops return the sideboard. Other than that, Relentless times 3 to face down all the end game event heavy stuff that you might see in Bosk and so forth. 2 copies of Traitorous main deck. You don't see a lot of Traitorous main decks these days, which is interesting because it's still a very powerful card. Aside from that, that all looks relatively straightforward, although Devastating Gunship you don't tend to see in villain decks these days, but then again you don't tend to see a lot of Kira these days, and it is a grit unit, so that makes perfect sense for it to be potentially being played on the Kira flip turn if you don't have a Overwhelming Barrage or later. So yeah, congratulations Tristan, very well done. Of course, moving on to 3rd place, Ben Davis, another Derby veteran from Boards and Swords Hobbies, who I've encountered. I haven't played yet, and I'm not sure I really want to because he's an incredibly good player, but obviously you don't get better without playing people better than you, so one day. Another Jango Fett Tarkin Town deck, largely superficially at the very least similar to the last one we just looked at on here, although this one includes Geonosis Patrol Fighter. On the surface, not a great card for 5, but if you can pay 3 for it, then a 3/2 with a small bounce effect is obviously potent. If you can pay 1 for it, then it starts becoming potent indeed, although you're having to sacrifice 2 units to do so, so whether or not you want to do that is of course tricky without tokens to fuel that sort of exploit. Swoop down the sideboard, Confederate TIE Fighter in the sideboard to deal with some Bosk and Ray healing overloads, which is obviously very frustrating. Maybe not obviously, it's obviously to me because it's incredibly frustrating to me as a habitual Sabine ECL player. Yeah, congratulations Ben, very well done indeed. 3rd place out of 94, extremely good performance. 2nd place, Jamie Stone was running a Quinlan Tarkin down. Defeated me like round 4 or 5 or so through there, so again I know what sort of skill he's running with in playing this deck. doing so extremely well. What am I looking at here? Anything particularly? Nothing surprising that I wouldn't expect to see in a Quinlan Voss Tarkintown deck here. Sparks, Grogu's, Leets, Cassian's, K2s, Kira's, Plos, Wreckers, Hans, Falcons, Price Right. Yeah, it's all the most potent stuff for a red-yellow heroic configuration. In the sideboard, Bamboozle to deal with some upgrades, Disabling Fanfighter to deal with some upgrades, Open Fire's a bit more removal, and a bit more top end if he wants his Falcon or his Edifice Nest in there as well. So, yeah, congratulations, Jamie. Second place out of 94 at Nottingham. Extremely well done. I know how much of a journey that was for you. Probably nothing to some of our American viewers, if we have any. But 2.5 hours drive here and back is not nothing. So I'm glad the journey was not for naught for you. Very well done. This is our event winner for Nottingham, Seb Buku Bukowski, proudly holding his champions mat that he has earned, as well as one of the titles of one of the best Sabine ECL players in the world, in my own personal opinion, which is of course utterly beyond disputation whatsoever. Well done, Seb. You earned it, mate. You really did. Here is Seb's deck. Sabine ECL has been documented to hell and back by now. Obviously, there's some choices in here which are beyond the usuals that you would see in literally every deck. Spec Force Soldier, one of. Daring Raid is generally accepted. Anti Django Tarkintown tech or anything else that you're going to be seeing a lot of 2 hit point units left kicking around with. It's still versatile, so you can still pick the base course. Jin Urso, a choice to be run in there. Sundari Peacekeeper, a choice to be run in there as well. It'd be interesting to learn the reasons behind including Jin. Maybe it's as a later play and hoping that you're going to be running her as a 4-2 Saboteur. But I guess that's an interesting fact itself. 1 copy of Bright Hope in there. And the sideboard, including his Medal Ceremonies, a couple of Heroic Sacrifices, 1 copy of Timely Intervention, not in the main deck. 3 Confiscates for the upgrades, and an extra Bright Hope. 3 Dark Sabers in the main deck. A lot of people talking about jumping ship from Dark Saber to the General's Blade in Sabine ECL, but obviously the Dark Saber is still an extremely potent tool in Sabine ECL's arsenal. 3 Rebel Assault in the main there. 3 R2s. How many? We got 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 15 potential turn 1 plays in there across all of those units. Seb is putting in a lot of work on his deck. He's done a lot of write-ups on the matchups he's done. He's repeatedly, to my understanding, finished in the top 8 in the TTI online tournaments that have been run. So if you want to get in touch with him, there are various ways in which you can do so. Pick his brains. But regardless, here is his deck list. Congratulations once again, Seb. It was very good to go to Nottingham the Dice Cup. Lovely store, huge place, great people, nice to meet people. And if you're going to the Element Games PQ in a few weeks' time, I look forward to seeing you there. In the meantime, I hope you get some insight from the deck list that you've seen here, give you some choice, some thoughts and some ideas into either what you're going to be facing or what you're going to be taking in future events. And aside from that, thanks very much for your time and watching. Cheers. Have a good one.